just want to say hello.
Okay.
Welcome to. Hello, and welcome to
The Real Loop Podcast. Hi, my name is Andrea, and I am with Cadavid Properties, a local brokerage here in Houston, Texas.
And I am Chelsea Wingardh with Nan Properties, another local boutique brokerage here in Houston that specializes in luxury.
My market is more of first-time home buyers, first-time home sellers, and first-time home investors. Now, Chelsea and I decided to create this podcast to do kind of bite-sized episodes where we bring you what we're living in the Houston market, although we are from different brokerages and specify in different markets. We just want to share our experience with you guys.
Yes, we both definitely believe in collaborating and win-win solutions. And we met shortly after I got my license, maybe about a year after I had my license, like 6 years ago. And it was so cute. We had coffee and we had such a good time. And I was like, do you want to be like friends who aren't mean to each other?
Did we just become best friends?
So ever since then, because Andrea is at her family's brokerage that they built and have a great empire, we are not at the same brokerage. So it's exciting to kind of get both of the different spins. And we have sometimes we have the same opinion, but we have such different perspectives. And I think that we're both really good about being open-minded and learning new things, and we just want to share that with people. So that is what brings us here.
Yes, I 100% agree. So just to add a little bit about where we're located, the Houston city has loops, and we are in the innermost loop called the 610 loop. And I am located kind of like on the northeast quadrant called Lindell Park. It's kind of like an up-and-coming area. If you are familiar with Houston, I usually say it's Heights adjacent, so on the east side of 45. And Chelsea's located.
I live on the opposite side of the same loop. I live on like the southwest corner. And it's Willow Meadows, Willow Bend, right next to Westbury and adjacent to Bel Air and Westview. We like to ride those coattails. So, and my brokerage has offices all over Galveston, the Woodlands, and you can normally find me between the Heights and the Galleria. But I also like to office at my listings if I have a vacant listing. And that way I'm kind of just all around the city and keep my eye on things.
So just to go off that, we are currently located in one of Chelsea's listings that will be hitting the market next week. It is a beautiful brand new construction. Do you want to do a little plug for this?
Yes. Okay, coming soon. Sneak peek. We'll do a little tour at the end of the podcast, but it's really pretty. Brand new construction over in Cottage Grove. You can walk to so many things. It's luxury like you haven't seen in the area. So we're listed at 1.25, 3 stories, 3 bed, 3.5 bath. You've got 2 offices, a bonus space, views of the Galleria. Everything's got built-ins. Everything's ready to go. An IT cabinet. The finishes are beautiful. I cannot wait to show you. Oh, and you have both a driveway and a fenced backyard. So 2 things that are hard to come by in townhome lifestyle, especially over here in Heights, Cottage Grove, these high-density areas.
Yeah, I agree. I love having a private driveway. Also, just for future, our goal is to share kind of like what type of listing or type of property you're going to find in the areas that we live or the areas that we focus on. So hopefully next episode we'll get to see something in Lindell Park. Yeah. But we just want to get right into it and kind of talk about one of the main topics that's been happening this year. I feel like the activity in the market was kind of slow to begin this year. My personal opinion, I think that interest rates started higher, like in the 7s, mid 7s. And now that we're hitting our spring market, maybe there's some pickup. Since I do focus on the first-time home buyer market, I have a client who is in the price point of the mid 200s who was able to secure new construction right outside the Loop, north of the Loop, which is an up-and-coming area. And we were able to negotiate some credits from the builder. And they had a program where they were offering 5.5% interest rate, which right now I believe is a big deal. I don't know what you've been seeing in your market.
Yeah. So the new construction has been buying down these interest rates for a couple of years now, and it can be hard to compete with if you have a similar style home in that neighborhood. So I've come up against that a lot in the past couple of years. And right now I have a lender who'll do a list and lock. And so that's what we're trying. So at a certain price, the seller can lock in a rate and they're committed to giving a certain credit to the buyer, and the lender also contributes to that. The benefit to the seller is if they're purchasing another home, they get credit towards that closing. And obviously the benefit to the buyer is they got 3% or however much help to get this interest rate down that didn't come exactly from the seller or them. And so what we've been seeing there is the same thing, buying the interest rates down to 5.5, 5.75. It depends on credit and the same things, but it's definitely something that you've got to compete with if it's near your market, because it's happening. But there are lenders who are creative and have programs like that. And even if so that's for my sellers on the listing side, but buyers, I've got, there's all kinds of programs, even if it's not sponsored by the seller.
Yeah, I agree. I think that lenders and builders, and sometimes it's hard to get sellers on board to realize that the affordability gap is just getting wider with price points. Sales prices have been holding. It's not like we're having a depreciation, we're just having a slower appreciation rate. And just letting sellers know that, like, hey, at this interest rate, at this price point, like, certain buyers can't qualify. And if you have a builder who's buying down the rate to 5.5 or 4.9, then it's just making the monthly payment more affordable for these buyers.
Definitely. Yes. So there was a big headline that we woke up to this morning, and Andrea's got a lot of info on it. I briefed myself and thought I was good to go on it, and then she was like, it means this is, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Girl, what happened today?
Yes, it is big news. I'm just going to read off my notes, but FHA loan eligibility for non-permanent residents has changed. So today's announcement was that non-permanent residents are no longer allowed to access FHA insured loans. So what this means is that usually people that, even though they didn't have a permanent residence, usually would renew their visas and were able to qualify for these loan programs, which have access to maybe lower down payments. And it makes it more accessible to get into a home. So I was just sharing with Chelsea that I wonder how it's going to affect the future, because when somebody buys a home, it creates around like 34 jobs. So there's title companies that are involved, there's inspectors that are involved, there's appraisers that are involved, there's the lender, the realtors,
photographers, caterers,
stagers.
Yeah, like so many things. Utility companies.
Yeah, so it creates a lot of income and jobs. And I just wonder how that's going to affect, because here in Houston, I feel like we have a high population of immigrants, like from all over the world. So I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. And like, if you have your thoughts on how you feel about it, if you think this is a good thing or you don't know what's going to happen, like, please comment below and let me know your thoughts, Chelsea.
Yeah, it's definitely something we want to like discuss. So ask questions and be curious with us. I'm also curious.
I mean, you were a first generation.
Yes. Everybody forgets. I'm
an immigrant too.
Yes, and I am the daughter of an immigrant. And so on one hand, like, I want to be optimistic and say, oh, well, it stops, foreign investors and things like that. But I think we know who this targets, and it's not foreign investors.
No, they got money.
So I think it's interesting to find out if there's a long game strategy, if there's, if you're going to be removing people from an area and they own homes and they're not going to be able to pay for them, then why don't you just not let them buy one from the beginning? Is kind of what it looks like. Should we edit this out?
No, I get what you're saying. Is this a way for FHA to see, like, are these people going to be able to pay their home in a year, or what's going to happen to their status? And I don't know. I mean, it's all a big question mark right now, and we're just watching it unfold, honestly.
Yeah. One thing that I don't think people think about unless you're like in the mortgage or interest business is that this is all about risk. So FHA, the regulators, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they might say, okay, here's a piece of the population that is risky. We don't want to give them loans, but normally we're not allowed to do that. But because this is a question of citizenship, I guess that's the loophole, because we have laws against doing that for every other reason.
I just think we're just going to have to watch and see what happens, and seeing if conventional is going to follow, or if they're going to keep things as they are. It's a little concerning, but I guess we'll just have to watch and see what happens.
Yeah. I think, find realtors who are adaptable and curious and solution oriented. But like you said, this is only for FHA. So it doesn't affect conventional. It doesn't affect private loans. It doesn't affect every kind of loan out there. It doesn't affect jumbo loans. So a jumbo loan is when you have a price point over the conventional standard amount, which I forget off the top of my head right now. It changes every year.
It's 800 now.
I think it's 800. It used to be 6, but I think it's like 8. So anyway, if you want to buy a house on top of that, you've got to get a second kind of mortgage. So those are excluded from this. So I forgot. See what happens. There's other programs out there, and we will just have to ride the course.
Yeah, pretty much. And I guess this is it for our episode. Again, we'd love for you to comment or share, give us your thoughts. It's kind of the first one for us, so welcome to our pilot, and stay tuned for what's to come next. Come along and tour this home with us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, come for a tour. We're going to cut it. Hello, welcome to my listing. You're going to get an ASMR sneak peek tour. We're going to start with my favorite part. There's a full office downstairs, and there's a bonus room upstairs. And there's another flex space in here. We have it staged like a craft room. You could do a homework room, butler's pantry, workshop, like a ton of things in here. Another office, but like a craft room, you guys. So I absolutely love that. And then you've got a big grand kitchen. There's so many cabinets. There's actually a ton of room in here because you also have a walk-in pantry this way. I'm gonna fill it with some goodies before the open houses. Do we want to go upstairs or downstairs? We were just filming in here, so I have to put the pillows back. But it's pretty cute. Okay, we're gonna go upstairs. Okay, one thing that's pretty cool is right in this corridor, you can put an elevator. It's got the corridor, but it's also got the setup, so all you have to do is buy elevator. They make these really pretty glass ones. That would be stunning, but that would be something you would do post-closing. This is the primary. It's a whole suite. You've got his and hers closets. You've got a nice big room. there's a lot of natural light and windows. The bathroom is pretty. She already showed you the bathroom. Okay, well, that's all for your sneak peek. Come back next time. Watch our next podcast, and maybe we'll make this a thing, or we'll do something else funny next time.